All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. This is episode 7 of the podcast, Let's Be Real. I want to welcome you all, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on SoundCloud. Thank you for stopping by and giving me a little bit of your time. So, speaking of time, let us jump into gratitude time. Today, I am thankful for being healthy enough to do any tasks that I need to complete in my life and challenges that are thrown at me. These challenges sometimes include dealing with my daughter or dealing with something that is very frustrating. Maybe my computer is not working or whatever else challenges may come and other life things. But I am thankful that I'm being able to have the mental health and the physical health to be able to get through these things. And so let's jump into today's topic, which is gratification.
What's going on?
So we're going to go over some definitions like we normally do. And the first one is the word gratification, which is a noun, and it means pleasure, especially when gained from the satisfaction of a desire. There are two types of gratification. One of them is instant gratification, which is the desire to experience pleasure or fulfillment without delay or deferment. And I'm pretty sure you can guess the other one, which is delayed gratification, which describes the process that the subject undergoes when the subject resists the temptation of an immediate reward in preference for a later reward. And so the last word I want to talk about with this is addiction. The fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. Now, the reason why I put addiction in there as one of the words that we're going to learn about, I'll get into it as we start. But what I'm going to start with is happiness. Is one of the reasons, obviously, that we seek gratification. You know, it's a pleasure. When you're happy, when you have a pleasure, you create happiness through a certain pleasure, whether it's playing a video game or going on a bike ride or buying something. That creates a happiness feeling inside of you. But that is a ever fleeting emotion. It literally happens. The dopamine receptors in your brain go off and you get this happiness, this joy over doing something. And that's that gratificational pleasure that you're getting. So what's happening is you're always chasing this euphoric feeling. The way that you're doing this gratification, you're chasing this euphoric feeling of happiness. And the problem arises because it can start to become an addiction. And that's where I get into this word that's why I put this word in the beginning, is people become addicted to gratification, and especially the instant gratification kind. And so to go through the quick summary of how the evolution of instantaneous things have happened, you look back at, the early 1900s, things took a while to get to you. There was the Pony Express, and eventually we got to trains, and eventually we got to cars, and things took time to travel to one another. Things took time to grow or to make or to, you get the picture. It took time for things to happen. As we evolved as humans, as in our intellect, and we created solutions to problems of getting things done faster, we are now in this age of instantaneousness. You look at mail, for instance. It took forever with the Pony Express to get mail. By the time you got the mail, it was outdated. Then it got to a point where if you sent mail, yes, you would get it in maybe 5 to 10 days. Now you can get mail overnight sent to you. Amazon sends you packages the same day or the next day. There's so many things. We went from email to instant messenger. Email was like the faster version of mail, and then we went to instant messenger, where bam, the message came through and you just talked to the person. So as this instantaneousness continued, we started to see a shift in the meta of how people were advertised to. And so now they've taken instantaneous and put it to everything. Now, I know you can't get instant abs, but you can get 30-day abs, which I really don't think you can get that, but they're trying to sell you on happiness. They're trying to get you to chase that euphoric feeling of, hey, I could get 30-day abs, and that would make me happy. And so people fall victim to ads because the way that they're marketed to with this instant gratification is what causes people to fall into the trap of buying shit they don't need. A lot of times, people will buy on impulse because of an advertisement, because of something was just perfectly said to them, was just given enough of that little taste of instant gratification, that pleasure, that desire, fulfillment without delay. It'll be there today. And that's where people fall victim to that. So the reverse to that is delayed gratification, which is actually delaying the reward and actually putting in, not taking shortcuts, not doing things that will cause you to get a lesser reward in a sense. So there's a very interesting book out there. If you guys want to read it, it's called The Marshmallow Test. And I've read this book. It's really interesting. I like the ideas that they go through in this book. But the main prowess that they talk about in the book is they took a group of kids, really young, 3 to 6 years old, I believe, and they would stick them in a room by themselves, and they would present them with a marshmallow. Sometimes it was a cookie, sometimes it was a candy, something. But it was a very enticing thing to a child. A 3 to 6 year old looking at a piece of candy, that's, gimme. So they look at that and they tell them, look, you can have that piece of candy or marshmallow right now, or you can wait till I come back into the room, and if that piece is still there, we'll give you 2 pieces. And so they had a one-way mirror that was in the room, and they would leave the room and they would go into this room and they would observe these children. And they saw the things that these children would do to keep themselves from taking that piece of candy or whatever. And then they would see others just instantly take it, and then some of them even tried to do little tricks. One of the kids, he took the Oreo, opened it up, licked the middle out of it, put it back together and put it on the table, thinking that he could get, a reward now and a reward later. He didn't know they were watching him, but he's using his brain. It was pretty tricky. The point of the matter is they did all this to these kids. They recorded the kids, and then they followed them throughout life. And they went back and I think it was around the age of like 25 to 30, somewhere in there. They looked at these kids and they looked at their test scores. They looked at the jobs that they acquired. They looked at all of these things that their life had evolved to. Now, just because a kid took a cookie because it was there didn't really mean all the time that he took it because, I really want a cookie. It also depended on, did they have lots of brothers that they maybe that cookie wasn't going to be there because there was all these other brothers that would have taken it. So their thought process was based on that. But anyways, it's a very interesting read, and it talks about instant gratification and delayed gratification. And the results are astounding, what they find with the kids who didn't take versus the kids who did. And so I'm not going to spoil it for you. You got to go read it. It's a really good book. But the point of it is it's something that is bred into our DNA. And I believe that as, hunter-gatherers back when we didn't have all the technology that we had now, instant gratification helped shape and mold so that we could go out and hunt and gather and stockpile and get the things that we needed to survive. Nowadays that we've morphed into consumerism rather than hunter-gatherer, the consumerism still is being ran with the instant gratification. So we're buying all this shit we don't need, pack ratting all this stuff in our houses or whatever, trying to get to, this stature of I've got this big house, I've got all these cars. And that's another thing that they get you with. I see a lot of these ads, a lot of these people out there that are trying to sell programs, trying to tell people they can get rich quick, all these different things. And they've got their Ferrari, they've got their private jet, they've got all this stuff. They're showing off their money. And I'm looking at that going, if you really want to help people, why are you having to make it look like you're super successful? Well, I get it. People want to get from somebody who's super successful. It's not that hard to go out and rent a Ferrari or rent a private jet or take photoshops and all this stuff to make it look like you're successful. I could be a millionaire and you don't even know it. You know why? Because I don't need to show it to you if I am or if I'm not. The point is I'm trying to send a message based on the facts. I'm not trying to put some flashy stuff in front of you. I'm not trying to grab your attention with falseness. The point is, if you want something, you have to work for it, and that's where delayed gratification comes in. You have to delay those rewards by putting in the work. There is no shortcut. And so that's why those ads drive me crazy. I hate those ads. It's not because I wish that I had those cars or that I'm not showing that off or whatever it is. It's not because of that. It's because these people are spreading falseness. They're spreading this same chasing euphoric feeling that all these other car commercials, any commercial that's out there is trying to grab your attention to get you to impulse buy. And that's where they make their money. And because if they don't get you to impulse buy, you're probably going to think about it. You're probably going to rationally decide, you know what? I don't need that. Why would I buy that? And so with that, I want to jump into Q&A reflection time.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. What?
Have you ever done something on impulse? Why? Why did you do it? Did you buy something? Did you go out and jump off a cliff into some water because it sounded cool? I mean, what did you do on impulse? Did you regret it? Why or why not? Do you feel you are in control of your happiness? And do you understand the difference between happiness and fulfillment? Because that's going to be our next one, is fulfillment. So that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I hope you guys got something out of it. I really, really like this topic of gratification. I think more people need to be aware of their emotional feelings when it comes to gratification and pleasure and fulfillment and happiness and those, the way that they all connect to each other. So hope you guys had fun. I had fun. I always have fun when I do these things. But most importantly, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and God bless.